Welcome back. So happy to be back, and I'm just loving looking for these videos and bringing up these topics so that I can break it down and just talk to the people. After my most recent successful video, the disappointments of dating as a black woman from black women, decided to start researching dating topics, and I want to go on record. What I do is I don't target people. I don't care who they are, if they're women friendly, if they're feminists, if they're men. I search for topics. As you all know, if you don't know, I am a coach. And sometimes I get asked questions as a coach. And even if, I won't say if I can't answer it, the questions I get asked, I usually want to bring these people on and want to do it live, and I want to put it on camera. But what I try to do is go search out people who already have videos that are speaking about topics that I want to break down, and then I'll break down their video in regards to what I was asked. So this video is piggybacking off the other one, but it's titled Wisdom for Women Dating After 40 by R.C. Blakes. And he refers to himself in the video as pastor. So I'm going to refer to him as pastor because that's what he said his title is. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this video about dating after 40. I'm turning it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and play that now.
Quest for me to deal with this subject. A lot of my audience is, 94% I think of my audience is female.
When I first was watching this video, and I just randomly found it, started watching it, when I heard him say that his audience was 94% women, I already knew. I said, yeah, I got a good one, because men who speak on how men really feel don't tend to get a lot of female fans. And if he's a male who has majority female fans, I already kind of knew how this was going to go.
And probably 75, 80% of that group is upwards of 40. And so I was asked a question if I would deal with just my thoughts on women dating after 40, in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s. I mean, even in the 70s. Is it viable? Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. I think as long as a woman has the desire, I think it means that she's viable. But
The first thing I caught just in this clip was he said, as long as women have the desire. And it automatically caught me because he said, basically at any age, as long as they have the desire, they can still date. And he already was leading women astray because he missed the part where men have to desire these women for them to be considered for the dates. So it's not about what the women desire. It's about if the men desire those women. That's just pretty common, to the point things. But let's go ahead. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because he speaks for a long time. It's a 54-minute video. I do not want to go through the whole video, but I do want to catch some key parts that he touches on. Let's go ahead and get to the next clip.
think of some other things while I'm talking to you. But the first thing I would say is to a woman dating after 40 is this: never allow yourself to date out of need. Don't allow yourself to date out of need. And I pause right there because I want you to think about what I'm saying. Don't find yourself on a dating scene. 63 is viable. Absolutely. Don't find yourself on a dating scene because you feel like you need a man.
Don't find yourself on a dating scene looking for things that you want, because things that you want a lot of the times conflict with the things that you need. And this was the first terrible piece of advice, because what he's telling women is don't go out thinking that you need a man. Men need women, women need men. We literally were created for each other. So for a pastor to get on here and his advice to his 94% of women is to don't go into dating thinking that you need a partner is already starting off wrong. But let's go ahead and let this keep playing.
You're at an age now where you should have processed all of this female slave conditioning, all of the impact that a misogynistic culture has ingrained in a young woman's mind. You're at an age now where you're young enough and old enough to know better than I need a relationship to be valuable. If you've not processed that kind of stuff, at 40, 50, 60 years old, you're not ready to date, because you're just you're setting yourself up for massive abuse,
The words that's coming out of this man's mouth are ridiculous. If you go into the dating world thinking that you need a man, you're setting yourself up for abuse by saying that I need a man. This is already pandering to the fourth degree, but I need to play. I know when I have stuff like this, it's always a come around. It's gonna come back around, but I need to play this part because there's another part that's gonna tie into what he's saying here. But let's keep this going.
Now, if you're coming to me and you're saying, well, Pastor, I think I'm ready to date because I'm just at that place where I would like companionship. I would like, the company of a man. And I feel good about my life, and I think I could add something to somebody else's life. I say go for it. But if you come in there and, you're 40 years old, you're 50 years old, 60, 70 years old, and you're still struggling with your identity and you feel like you need a man. See, and Vanessa, that's really where
40, 50, 60, 70 are the ages that he's referring to. And he's already said that if you come in thinking that you need a man at that age, I spoke to somebody else about this, and I just said, let's just use random common numbers for ages. The average person on this earth lives to be about 80, right? So what I told, and I was doing a coaching session, I said the average person lives to be about 80. So wouldn't that make midlife halfway through your life, age 40? That means you've already lived half of your life at age 40. So now we're on the downswing. We're literally on the last. You can look at the cup half full. I look at the cup half empty. We on the other half empty portion. This cup is going down. It's not filling back up. It's going down. At that point, and he's saying that if you at that age and you're still thinking that you need a partner, there's a problem with you. No, it's not. That is great to have the mindset that you need a man, because you should know that you need a man. We all, average people, are not going to make it on this earth trying to do it alone. Average people, average earners. We're not going to do it alone. Even myself, average people. If you're not earning upwards of $100,000, this is what Kevin Samuel speaks about. If you're not earning upwards of $100,000 by the time you retire, how are you going to make it from, let's just give it from 65 to 85? I just said it was 80, so let's just say 65 to 80. 15 years. You're going to have to go alone. So you're advising women to go that distance after retirement alone because there are no new jobs. No one's hiring a 70-year-old woman to come work in a business. It's just not smart. So how are you going to make it from age 70 to 80 or until, our time passes? How are you going to make it that time alone? Off of what? What are you going to survive off of? Social Security? Making $800 a month? That's what you're going to be your lifeline? In place of a man where you could have had two incomes working together, two retirement plans working together, two people living in the house working together. You could have had this, but you said, no, I want to do it on my own. And right now, at the age of 40, 50, it's like, I can do this. But once you hit that 60, 70 mark, and here in Cleveland, Ohio, we got a bad snowstorm, and you go walking outside and you see that snow, and you're independent woman supreme, you got it on your own, right? No, this is ridiculous.
Where we should be. Vanessa said I could go either way. See, when you get to that point where
Pastor, man.
I can be happy by myself, I can be cool if I have the right person. Now you know that you're mature enough and you're healthy enough to actually consider dating. But never allow yourself to date out of need. It's a setup for abuse. The moment you allow yourself as a woman to be in a position that you are depending on a man to be in place and to be faithful and consistent, you're depending on a man to do that, and your well-being is attached to that. You don't really need a therapist to figure out that that's not a good route to go. And if you have that mindset, before you push yourself out there or allow yourself to go out there and set yourself up because you're really reacting to low self-esteem, you should really get a counselor or a therapist that you can work through those issues, because this is not the day, nor is it the time for a woman to depend on a man for her lifeline.
I'm not going to say it bothers me that a man is saying this because I've seen it. I've seen Derek Jackson do this exact same thing and become famous from it. It doesn't bother me that he's a man. It doesn't bother me that he's a black man. What bothers me the most is this is a pastor speaking words to women of his congregation. He has 500,000 subscribers. On this video alone, we're already up to 373,000 views. And this is what he's telling women, that if you go into the world, especially at that age, thinking that you need a man, that it's a mental illness, something that you will probably require therapy for thinking that you need a man. And since this is a pastor, I'm just going to read one of the passages that I found in the Bible about women's purpose, the purpose of the women. Genesis chapter 2 verse 18. Then the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him. He made a helper for a man. He did not want man to be alone. So he made a helper for man. And here is a pastor saying that you should not need that man that God created you to help. Listen, I don't want to preach. I ain't no preacher. I'm just a man that just uses logic. I am a Christian. I was born Christian. I was not heavily involved in the church, but I was in church enough to where I didn't question pastors. If a pastor told me something, I ran with it full-fledged. But now that I'm an adult and I'm able to process what I've seen in the Bible, what I hear from pastors in the church, and what I know from experiences, this not adding up. Let's let it keep playing a little bit more.
This is not the day. And I know you have people that get on here telling you about, you just supposed to accept anything and just to have a man. That's foolery. If you can't have the right kind of man that's going to treat you right, and if you can't be well adjusted and balanced and healthy in the process, you don't need a man. So never.
I agree with him. I agree that you should find the right man for you, for your needs, for his needs. Everyone's needs in a relationship should be met. And I believe the younger that you are searching for your needs, the easier it will be to be able to fulfill both sides completely. The younger you are, the easier it'll be. The older you are, the harder it'll be to be able to check off every box on your list. Especially as a woman, because as women age, the things that men want from women get worse with age. The things that women tend to want from men get better with age. This is not a Larry thing. This is not a Kevin Samuels thing. This is not something you can just look up on the well, you can look it up on the internet. These are facts. The things that women want from men. They usually say they want money. They usually say they want security. They usually say they want stability. Men, as we get older, if a man is on his purpose and doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's getting more money, he's getting more stable, he's getting more wise, he's getting more experience, he's getting more brains, he's getting smarter. All of these things are getting better with age. The things that men want, which is femininity, beauty, fitness, are usually getting worse as women get older. So it would behoove you to do it sooner than later. We got another part that we're gonna skip ahead to. It's gonna start getting juicy now, guys. I promise. I just need to cover certain parts of the things that he says. I could have just let this play, but I really hate hearing him keep talking. So let's go ahead and play this from here.
Slim to none that dude is really going to hold you down. And in a lot of cases, you're going to be taken financially, because here's the truth. Here's the truth. We have more women now, especially in the black community. I'm not certain about the other communities, but especially in the black community, we have more women now who are succeeding in their careers, more educated, higher earners, than we have men who are of the same caliber.
This again plays into the it's a money grab. At this point, it's truly a money grab. These are stats that you can literally Google and look up, and you can see that black women are more enrolled in school than their counterpart of black men. That is a fact. Black women are currently getting more degrees than their counterpart, the black men. That is a fact. The thing that the stats don't show is what are they getting certified and degrees in. Most black women are going into nursing, and I'm not even talking about all the way up to the RN status. I'm talking about what's this thing? STNA, CNs, LPNs, and then of course you get the RNs. But nursing, cosmetology, that's where we're getting all these, black women are now more certified and have more degrees because they're going to get cosmetology because it's just easy. It's easier and it's a money grab. So when we give these stats and the money, that is a falsehood. Black women on average make about $10,000 less than what the black men make. So for him to say, black women are tend to make more money than their counterparts, we'll ride with that and just let that go for his sake. Let's just let him finish what he's going to say.
And so if you're a woman 40, 50, 60 years old, chances are that you're doing better financially than a lot of the guys that you might meet. And if you're dating out of need, it may be a bank robbery.
If you dating out of need, the men you meet, it's more likely to be a bank robbery because they're gonna just take your money. That's all it's about now. If you date thinking that you need a man, you're likely to get your money taken. And these are the people that's giving the dating advice to our women. This is why we have the current state of dating that we are. This is why dating is trash. Because we're telling women, don't go and think you need a man. You don't need a man. If you think you need a man, you know what's going to happen. You're going to end up getting your money taken. You're going to get robbed. Because you make more money than most of the men you meet anyway. The logic.
You should never date out of need. You should date. You should consider dating. And now let me clarify this. It's unfortunate that I have to take my time and explain this, but this is the culture and the times that we live in. Dating is not equivalent to a sexual relationship. I know a lot of you, the culture has conditioned you to believe that dating is always equivalent to a sexual relationship.
When I hear advice from people like this, and they start trying to tell you what things mean, and they blame it on the culture, the society. Men date because they want sex. It's not society. It's not the culture. This is what men want and the reason for them to date. This just is. I'm sorry. And that again plays into the current state of where we're in. Men aren't going to date you if they don't believe sex is at the end of the tunnel. Does it mean that we have to have sex on the first date? No. But most men are going to be expecting sex to come from them dating you. So dating has to lead to sex, or else there is, if you don't believe me, any woman watching this, go on a date. And before you even go out, you tell a man, hey, I know you want to take me out. I'm willing to go out, but just know there will never be sex. This will not lead to sex. Sex is not at the end of the rainbow. And see how many dates you get after that. This is a complete falsehood and another way of keeping women single. Because another thing I'm going to tell you about Pastor R.C. Blake's Jr., his 94% women that he has as subscribers and fans of his page are more than likely 90% of them are single. I guarantee you. Married women aren't listening to this type of stuff. Married women are happy listening to their husbands. Single women are listening to this. Women's empowerment. You shouldn't need a man. You're the prize thing. But let's go ahead and keep this playing.
That's not the kind of dating I'm talking about. That's not that's called adultery or fornication. That's not called dating. That's adultery or fornication.
Now we're going
the
to
dating I'm talking about is where two people come together to explore the souls of each other, to see.
Dating, what he's talking about, is two people exploring each other's souls. How the hell can you explore each other's souls on a freaking date where we have to get to know the basics? Dating, in reality, Pastor, is us sitting down for coffee across from each other and getting to know things about each other. Before we can even get to the soul, I need to know who I'm dealing with. I can love your soul and hate the type of person you are. And more people need to understand that it has nothing to do with your insides, your heart, and your intentions, because you can have all the good intentions in the world and still be a terrible person. You can have the best soul in the world and still not be fit for me. And this is why these things that these so-called dating people say are just so egregious and so ridiculous and doesn't even add up or lead to dating. I'm not a dating expert. But what I can do is tell people that this, based on my experiences, my knowledge, is ridiculous, because I know men and I know women. And tying those together, I kind of got a good understanding of how this is supposed to work. Not to the extent to where I'm going to call myself a dating expert, because I don't even want to be one. But I'm going to say it to the extent that I just know what kind of works, what can work, and what doesn't work at all. And this dumb stuff doesn't work at all.
If they are compatible and if they can, find a future together. If they can't, maybe the relationship is just meant for companionship. Dating is not a sexual relationship. You have to lose that in your thinking as a woman. And I have to say this even to 40, 50, and 60-year-old women. Women today feel obligated to give a man sex because he brought you out 2 or 3 times. And y'all say y'all exclusive now.
No, Pastor. They feel obligated to give men sex because men want sex. What they're doing is giving these men, who's giving them their time and resources, they're giving them the things that men want. Women do not listen to this shit. Continue giving men what they want, or they will go and get it from someone else. Do not go on multiple dates with these men assuming that they're trying to get to know your soul. Most men are dating for the end goal of sex. And then they'll get to know your soul. And I use words like most and majority because I don't want to just say, well, I know a guy. I know one guy, or the guys that I hang with are out here looking to just smash. Or I know guys that are out here really looking to have soul ties with people. No, it's about the majority of men. And it's about the majority of people that are dating. I don't know too many dating sites where you click and look to understand people's souls. Most of the dating sites and the matchmakers are matching people based on the fact that they want relationships and sex.
Well, I think you have to revisit your personal standard. Now, I'm a Christian. I don't force my my beliefs and all of that down the world's throat. I don't, because I have all kinds of people that come on here.
Yes, you do.
But I would suggest, as a woman especially, that you not lie your body down in a bed for every man that you call yourself dating.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Here is where my logic comes from. You date. The first and second date. Do I mean that you have to have sex on the first and second date? Absolutely not. You should go on a first date with whoever, however. First dates to me do not count for shit. All it is, do I like you? Do you like me? Okay, now since we figured that out, now let's go on a second date. Second date. You should not go on any dates past the second dates if you're not sexually attracted to the other person. This goes for men and women. You should not do it. Nobody should still be wasting each other's time, because I believe sexual attraction is very important when it comes to marriage. And even Pastor is going to get on this later on. But sexual attraction is very important. Men date for sex. Understand, man, if you want to see... people like him are setting men back, because I say listen to men, and then we got a man on here telling you that you don't need a man. How ridiculous is this? And it's tough to tell women to listen to men, because we got stuff like this that just contradicts everything that us men are working so hard to get women to understand about men.
Because that is, you may not believe it, but it is going to be emotionally traumatizing when you finally wake up. When you finally wake up and you realize who you are and you know your worth, and you realize how little you gave all of your value away for, that's going to be something to process and deal with.
I forgot. He did just say that you should not sleep with every man you're dating. I completely agree, for just the reasons that Pastor just said. Because as you give away sex and as you age and as time progresses, women's values go down. He just said it. If you keep doing this, you will find that your value is going down. And the things that men value in women are not experience. Most men do not want sexually experienced women. Does that mean you have to be a virgin? No. Does that mean that being a virgin to the man that you're going to marry is going to make it better? Yes. Does every man want virgins? No. But most men would prefer as least amount of sexual experience as possible. Irregardless to what he's experienced, we're not the same. I don't want to hear the, well, men do it. We're not the same. I acknowledge that when it comes to the good and the bad. The problem with most women is they only want to acknowledge that men and women aren't the same when it comes to things that they don't want to do. When it comes to hearing that creak in the night and they got to get up. Oh, no, I ain't a man. You go handle that. When it comes to taking that garbage out to the curb after the raccoons and spilt it over there, you got to go out there and clean it up. Oh, no, you got to go handle that. When it comes to, I need that driveway shovel. Oh, no, you got to handle that. I acknowledge on the good and the bad. There are things that women can do that men can't do, and I'm fine with that. There are things that men can do that women can't do, and I'm fine with that. One of the things that women cannot do, well, you can, but it's going to hurt you in the long run, is sleeping around. You should not sleep with everyone you date. You should only be sleeping with people that, you went on a first date, you said, you know what, I like him, he likes me. Second date, I'm sexually attracted. My goal is to be in a long-term relationship. He wants to be in a long-term relationship. You know what? Maybe date 3 we can get this cracking. Maybe date 4, I don't know. But it's in the future. It's there. And it can happen.
With for you as a woman. It's just not the same as a man. I know y'all say, well, the men do it, but you're not a man. And it's just, society is not going to treat you the same. Your psyche is not built the same. And you cannot equate dating with sex. I just had to say that.
We differ, but I agree with what he just said. We are not the same. And you should understand that dating for men does mean sex.
But number one, never allow yourself to date out of need. If
Okay.
you need a man, you don't need a man. If you need a man, you don't need a man.
I hate this. And he keeps saying it like it's really supposed to
If
mean
you
something
need a
deep.
man, you don't need a man.
What does that even mean? What sense does that make? And a lot of times you hear these people saying these quotes of affirmations and all this stuff to try to get real deep and act like he's saying something that's really deep, and it doesn't. I don't even know what the fuck it means. I'm really lost.
And more than likely, if you're in a position where you feel like you need a man, you are not pursuing your life's purpose, because purpose can consume you. When you really locate your purpose consumes your life. You have to intentionally stop and make room for somebody else in your life.
I'm not going to read the scripture again. I think there's a point where he reads this, he goes into some scripture. If he goes into it again, then I'll go into it again. But now he's getting on the purpose of women. And if you need a man, it's interfering with your purpose as a woman. If you're going to tell women that needing a man is going to interfere with their purpose, what you should explain is, what is a woman's purpose then? I'm going to rewind it just a little bit more because I want him to say this dumb stuff again. But I would like to make sure that I'm not hearing wrong. I want to see if I can hear what is a woman's purpose.
You need a man, you don't need a man.
Mm-hmm.
And more than likely, if you're in a position where you feel like you need a man, you are not pursuing your life's purpose, because purpose can consume you. When you really locate your purpose consumes your life. You have to intentionally stop and make room for somebody else in your life when you are living on purpose. There's nobody that's living on purpose that ever says, oh, I need a man. If I don't have a man, I don't know.
Yes, they are. There's plenty of them who said, you know what? I've been living in this purpose that I thought was my purpose. I've been focusing on this career. I've been chasing this bag. And I realized that I'm still not fulfilled. Because God said that he made us for men. He made men for us, and he made us for men. And I've been living for up to 40, 50, 60, 70 years without one. And now I need one. That's literally the people that are coming to him. The people that wanted him to speak on dating at these ages are asking this not because they got to these ages and said, you know what, I don't need a man. They got to these ages and they want to know. They said, I need a man, but I need to know how to go out and get one. So, Pastor, how about you talk about it? And then he started going on this tirade about how you don't need one. And they're sitting there confused now because they're like, well, that was the whole point of me wanting you to answer and speak about dating at 40, 50, 60, 70 because I want one and I need one. This is hurting what men are truly feeling because there's so many women out here listening to it because it feels good.
Know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lose my mind. No. Purpose consumes 24 hours a day. You find a man that's worthy of you, you then pause it and you stop and you make room for this man to fit into your life.
He said, you focus on your purpose, and then when you find someone who's suitable, you squeeze them in where you feel like, you got room for a man. How the hell do you expect a woman to find a husband who she wants to lead her if she's squeezing him in between her job and her hobbies and her girlfriends? She's squeezing him in there. So what this pastor who's married is telling women to do is once you find a man, you don't come under his wing. You don't get on his program. You squeeze him in between your programs? What?
If you're a woman that needs a man, more than likely you have not located, or if you have located, you're not in pursuit of your purpose, because your purpose is all fulfilling.
Still ain't telling me
I
what
promise
your
you
purpose
it
is. It's all fulfilling.
Your purpose is all fulfilling.
What does that mean?
And any woman that is really working in her purpose knows why the Creator made you, why you exist. She's a woman that can be like a...
Now, I said I wasn't going to bring up no more scripture until he read scripture, but this man just said that, that's why the Creator made you. Genesis 2:18, then the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him. That's what God said. That's what the Creator said that you believe in, Pastor. What are we doing? What are we doing here? This is ridiculous.
I think it was Vanessa that can take it or leave it. Either way it goes. If a good situation comes along, great. If not, I'm still cool. Because what? I'm married to my purpose. Because dating and desperation are a combustible combination. If you're desperate, you don't need to be out there, man. I promise you. If you're desperate for a man, if you sit in there right now and you're listening to me and you really have a real transparent and take an objective look at yourself, step outside of yourself and look back at yourself, and you conclude that I'm desperate for a man, dating and desperation are a bad combination. It always ends bad.
I agree that being desperate while dating is bad. But what he just did was say that if you go into the dating world saying that you need a man, it means that you're desperate for a man. And those two are not the same. Desperation and need are not one and the same. Saying that I need a new pair of shoes does not mean that I'm desperate for a new pair of shoes. It just means that these other ones got a hole in it. When I become desperate for one is when I don't have shoes at all. And I'm walking barefoot and I'm being hurt by walking around. Now I'm desperate for shoes. Before I just needed some because these old ones are going bad. Going into the dating world saying that I need a man, it's not a shame. There is no slight on women saying that, you know what, I'm tired of doing this by myself. I want a man and need a man for the purpose that God put me on this earth for. But let's go ahead because this video still is going to continue. We're at 13:15. Okay. Let's get on to this part. Let me play it from here.
Because you got it popping. They just don't realize that that little season they're in is just that. It's just a season. And then they're going to have to grow up and they're going to have to think and function like a real grown woman in this real dangerous world. And then it's then that they're going to come around and want to hear conversations like this. But right now they don't want to hear it. They just think they cute enough. They can, use their cute.
He's speaking about younger women who are under the ages that he was speaking on. So let's go in their 20s and 30s.
Cuteness and use their little shape and their little figure and all that kind of thing. That stuff doesn't. Okay, number two. Never hide yourself to make a man comfortable. Because society says to you, this is the language that society uses. Oh, you didn't hit the wall. You over the hill. I think they say you over the hill now at 28. You 28 years old. You over the hill. You hit the wall. You in the. Somebody was emailing me asking me about the dangers, the danger zone and all of this kind of thing. I don't know about no danger zone, but I do know that's a lot of BS.
For anybody who don't knows what the danger zone is, it's a phrase made up for men, basically letting women know that you have a clock. There is a time limit on a lot of things for women that are not true for men. And one of the things are your biological clock. We all know, whether we want to accept it or not, that there is a time frame when having children for women completely stops forever. We all know that for men, the time clock is so far out that it's not even really a real time on it. It just kind of happens at some point down the men's life, and it's really far out. But for women, it usually comes around that middle age mark that we were just speaking on, usually around 30 to 40. But let's get back on the wall first. The wall, referred to by Pastor here, is the mark where, okay, I've hit the peak of my beauty, and now from this moment forward, I will not look better. I will not get better. I will not get stronger. I will only decrease in beauty, looks, and the things that men value. So they usually use this term, the wall, because they're letting you know, hey, women, you've hit that mark. There is no better. There is no cuter. There is no tighter. It will only get looser. It will only get worse from here on out. So you need to understand this. Nobody's saying that there is absolutely nothing left for you beyond the wall. They're just letting you know that there is a wall there. Because understanding your own body and what men want from women, you'll be able to handle dating better. Because you're acknowledging what it is. And we need to start acknowledging what our body does and the type of functions that we have, or else we're going to be lost in asking a pastor to explain to us about dating while we're 40s, 50s, and 60s, and he's married. He's already trying to tell us. The danger zone is a part where you're getting close to the wall, where you need to start focusing like a laser on your goals and what you're going to do with the rest of your life. Because past 35 comes the high-risk pregnancy. Most doctors won't advocate for women having babies past 35. So that means that from about, we'll give it 20, 21. From 21 to 30, you need to start figuring out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. Getting down pat, figuring out if you're going to have a husband, and then having your children, so that you won't be in your 40s worrying about freezing eggs and if I can survive this high-risk pregnancy. Because that is real for women. Versus this pastor calling it BS. No, it's real.
And if I wasn't, I'd tell you exactly how I feel about it if I wasn't on a public platform.
But you should tell. You came out, you brought it up. You brought it up. You're speaking on dating. You're speaking about what women should do. And then you tell them, well, if I wasn't on a public platform, I'll tell you how I feel about the wall in the danger zone. It's true. It's biological stuff that you can look up. Doctors will tell you, yes, there's a point where women should start worrying about if they can have children or not. And you shouldn't be 40 worrying about freezing your eggs trying to find a sperm donor to do it. Most of you, if you want to have children, most of you want to carry your child. Listening to people like this, you're going to end up 50 with frozen eggs, paying someone else to carry your child. When you could have done it yourself naturally if you just understood that there is a point where you can't do it anymore.
It's a lot of BS, man. Let me tell you something. There is somebody in the world that's going to love you for you.
This is the worst statement I've ever heard by any women in an argument, is that there's someone out there for everyone. How many people on this earth get to meet everyone on this earth? It's not very likely. I don't think it's ever been done where one person has met everyone on the earth. So the likelihood of you meeting that one person has already been slimmed down because he's telling you they could just be anywhere on the planet. So not only could they be anywhere on the planet, they could be a different race. They could be a different age. They could be a different gender for all we know. He's just saying there's somebody that does it, and we're just supposed to, because there's somebody somewhere, we're just supposed to go out and say, I can do it. I'm good. I don't need this. There's somebody might be in Alaska. How you gonna find them? How you gonna meet them? That's a dumb argument. It's possible, but is it probable?
You never have to, because when you listen to all of these lies that society gives you,
it's not lies, and it's not society.
You feel like you got to hide your age. I got to lie about my age as a woman, which I never really get that. I don't get it. I mean, I'm not a woman, so, My wife's never had a problem with telling her age. I don't get why y'all scared to tell your age, I'm
going to fast forward past this part. I was going to play it, but he really starting to irk my soul listening to this. I've listened to it enough when I was studying it and trying to break it down and capture my notes. So we're just going to skip that part and get over to this.
Man to accommodate you. If he ain't enough man to deal with all that you are, your age, your accomplishments, your mistakes, your children. Some of y'all out here hiding the fact that you got children. Why would you do something like that?
Most women hide their children because the men that they want more than likely don't want women with children. And unfortunately, because we have pastors like this who tell you to go focus on other things besides getting a man, we got a bunch of women going into their prime years, their most beautiful years, from the ages of 20 to, let's give it, 35. Their most prime beautiful years. They're going through these years just living for a random purpose, not knowing that in the back of their mind they want to be married, they want a husband, they want a family. Then they hit 40, 3 kids, 2 baby daddies down. Now we're like, you know what? I want that man. I want that high value leader like pastor. I want a pastor. But the pastors don't want a woman with 3 kids and 2 baby daddies. So they go into the dating market having to hide themselves or cover up those past mistakes, because these men who've built themselves up while women were out here enjoying themselves, these men who built themselves up and gained the things that women wanted. I don't want you to think like, oh, a man can do it, but women can't. No. What men did was go out and get better at the things that women wanted, while women are getting worse at the things that men want. And then they get to this age where it's like, okay, he's up there now, I want him. He's like, oh no, I didn't have to work to get this. I'm not about to settle for that. And I had to, no, you didn't even maintain the things that I want. And that's why women lie about these things.
Never hide yourself to make a man comfortable.
I agree with that.
You don't cover yourself up, hide you, showing just pieces.
I agree you shouldn't hide yourself, because when it finally comes out, because it's all gonna come to the light. When it finally comes out, it's not gonna end well for you. You should embrace the suck. If you made those mistakes, you should stand on them. But the problem is, people like Pastor are going to tell you that you should stand on those mistakes and you'll still be able to get the men that you want. And more than likely, those high value men who worked and built themselves up that most women want, the top 10% of men, they aren't going to settle for that because they have the pick of the litter.
Pieces of yourself to make a dude comfortable. Amos 3:3 says,
Bible? Scripture?
Can two walk together except they be agreed? How are we going to go in the same direction if we not on the same page?
How are we going to go in the same direction if we ain't on the same page? I like that he said that. I just wanted to note that.
I got to lie to you, if I have to misrepresent myself to you, y'all give me some thumbs. I ain't got but 276. Give me some likes on this. I need to get to at least, well, wow, give me to 800 at least. If you have to misrepresent yourself to make a man comfortable, he ain't the man for you. You ain't got to make no man. He's not a child. That's not a child. You got to tuck in. This is a grown, supposedly grown man. You do not have time to be around here perpetrating and trying to make a grown man comfortable. It's his job, again, to make you comfortable.
I agree with Pastor.
If he can't deal with all that you are, let bygones be bygones. It is what it is. Keep it moving.
I agree. Keep it moving.
But Pastor,
man.
You don't understand. I need a man. Babe, if you need a...
Notice who he just mocked. Notice what he just said. But Pastor, you don't understand. I need a man. That's usually why the women of this age range that he's talking about, they usually go living their lives, hot girl summer it up, doing what they want, independent woman. I'm me. I'm living from the purpose Pastor told me to live. They get to 40 and say, I don't want this. I want different. I want more. I need a man for the things that I want.
A man, you don't need a man. Go sit yourself down somewhere. If you need a man, you do not need a man.
Here you go with this dumb shit again. All right, let's get over to the good part, because this here, Pastor took me for a loop with this one, y'all. I expected this entire video to be about basically what he's been saying, completely sending women astray, because he benefits financially from women being single. The women that are coming to this channel seeking Pastor's advice on dating is single women. Married women are not asking Pastor about dating. How many views did this video get? 372,000 women were not coming here because they were happily married and under the tutelage of another man. They came here because they were single. So he benefits from keeping women single. But let's go ahead and play this.
Dating after 40.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, be aware of masculine, feminine energy.
There's a difference?
Be aware of masculine, feminine energy.
There's a difference.
Now let me just take a moment to explain, unpack that. We live in a society, we live in a culture, we live in a world where the masculine energy of a man and the feminine energy of a woman has been so confused that we have feminine men and we have masculine women. And when I
wonder why, Pastor, who just told women to not focus on men and live in their purpose that you didn't describe. I wonder why.
See a masculine woman, I'm not suggesting her sexual preference. Because you have heterosexual women who are very feminine in terms of their, their dress code, their mannerisms and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all of that and still have masculine energy. And if you're 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, and you're still dating, more than likely, society or life, should I say, has put you in a position where you've had to shoulder the load?
If you're 40, 50, or 60 and you're still dating, more than likely society has put you in a position to shoulder the load. You just told women to live in their purpose and do what they want. You told them to shoulder the load. When you told them to live in their purpose and do what they want, you told them that. So the society you're speaking of is you. And then the women who chose to do that made the conscious decision to shoulder the load themselves. So it's not really society. It's choices that are making us shoulder the load and end up dating at 40, 50, and 60. He's about to come around full circle with the whole thing because he just kind of backpedaled and said if you're dating at 40, 50, and 60, it's because you had to shoulder the load. But let's let them keep talking.
More than you should have. You've either not had a man in your life to ever shoulder the load, a man that you could actually rely on and depend.
He just said you shouldn't need a man. If you need a man, you don't need a man. And now he's speaking on, well, the reason you got to shoulder a load because you never had a man. I wonder why, Pastor.
Depend on, or you had a man and maybe he, I don't know, for whatever reason y'all didn't make it or whatever, and you were left to figure it out for yourself. And so now for a period of time, you have been shouldering the load. You've been making the decisions. You've been making the calls. If you're a bump in the night, you the one getting the gun. You the one going to the backyard.
Now he describing the things that women say they need men for. Now he's getting into it. And usually the young women don't care about doing these things. It's really the 40s, 50s, and the 60s that start noticing, damn, just heard a bump downstairs. I don't want to go see what that's about. It's trash in the backyard. I don't want to have to keep taking that stuff out. Now he's addressing it, but you contradicting everything you just said. You just told them to be independent, don't need a man, go do it for themselves. And now you're saying, oh, well, if you've been doing it for yourself, that's probably why you're in this position. What?
You the one got to protect yourself, and you the one got to earn.
Because of your own choices. You're going to have to. These are the consequences of saying you want to do it alone. These are the consequences of if you need a man, you don't need a man. This is how you end up.
You know what I mean? You the one got to change the oil. You the one got to open the door for yourself.
Straight.
And so now you've been masculinized so long, and you didn't ask for this. It's just what life threw at you.
What? You didn't? This is why I had to break this video down. It wasn't even so much the stuff he said in the beginning. If he had just said all that and left it at that, I'd be like, no. The reason this video is so interesting because at some point, I did videos back in the day about Steve Harvey, and he used to cater to women really bad. But at some point, even he couldn't mask the things that he truly believed deep in his heart because they were ingrained in him as a man. And by him being a married man, by Steve Harvey being a married man, by Pastor being a married man, they know the real. They just preach this stuff because they benefit off of single women. Because there's no reason in the world. He just told you to live on your purpose. You don't need a man. And then turn around and say, well, the reason you like this is because you don't have a man. What?
That now when you get...
Oh, and he said it wasn't, you didn't ask for it. Life threw it at you. No, you did it, Pastor. You told them to go do it. They asked for this. They asked you to help them. You gave them something, then they followed what you said.
Wow. Okay, let me add another one to that. You deal with feminine men who refuse to do these things. You kept them around because...
why do you keep them around, Pastor?
Whatever they was good for, I don't know. Y'all pretty much know what they was good for.
What it was good for.
And that's all it was good for.
So masculine women kept around feminine men for sex. So again, full circle with the things that the manosphere people teach. Women go out, they focus on their careers, they focus on the jobs, they focus on everything but a man. They use men for sex, giving men the things that they want. You're giving away your most precious gifts for free. And then once you get older in age, you start saying, you know what? Now I want someone to share these things with. I have all this money, but I can't fulfill my real purpose on this earth, which is to be with the man. Now I want that. But unfortunately, because you've kept the feminine men around and got babies by them and enjoyed the sex from them, the masculine men that are left don't want that to deal with. They don't have to deal with that because they have options. Because those masculine men who made their way up to the top 10%, top 20% have options of the entire 100% of women.
You dealt with masculine or feminine men so long that you think this is just the way it is, and so now you're wearing and you're owning this masculine energy, and then you get you meet a dude that is masculine.
Couldn't agree with you more, Pastor.
Everything about him is masculine, which means what? He's the kind of cat, he gets offended if you try to pay the bill. He gets offended if you come here talking about.
So now they want to deal. So the real masculine men are the ones who get offended when a woman tries to pay the bill. He just told women, you shouldn't be with a man that makes you take a step back or cover who you are. He just said that. He told you should be the one, doing what you want, and then squeeze those men in wherever they fit. And then now he's telling you, guess what? Those masculine men, the real men, are gonna get offended. Let's keep playing that.
Half. And he gets offended.
He said real men don't want to go half. So real men got their own standards. So these real masculine men got their own ways. So these real men aren't going to just fit in anywhere. You're going to have to fit under them now, Pastor? That what you're saying?
He gets offended if you reaching for a door. He wants to open a door. He's a masculine man.
So those masculine men got ways that the women have to follow if they want to be with those masculine men. Is that what you're saying, Pastor?
In the mind, in the psyche of a masculine man, he takes care of his woman.
But I thought the women supposed to do what they want. So now the masculine men take care of their women, meaning the women need to come in and get under the tutelage of the man, because the man is going to be the leader and the head of the household and the one running things. He's going to get offended if you try to squeeze him in between your career and your friends, right, Pastor? You're seeing that now.
He shoulders the load for his woman. He gets offended if you have a need and you go somewhere else, for somebody else to help you, and you don't talk to him about it. He's a masculine man.
That's a real man, right, Pastor? That's a real man. I'm with you. I couldn't agree with you more, Pastor. Problem is you didn't keep this same energy early, Pastor. You told these women that they need to squeeze a man in where he can fit in. And they should be worried about their purpose and not needing a man. And then now you're telling them, guess what? These real men and masculine men, they like stuff this way, and this way. And this is the problem with the dating scene, is because even men like this, whose entire first 30, 40 minutes was strictly catering to the needs of women, are telling you that there are men who have things a certain way. The men that have built themselves up to become the top 10% of men. The men who are on their stuff. We're not going to talk about the Pookies and Ray Brays. We're not going to talk about the ones that ain't shit. What I really want females to understand is that I understand you. I feel you. There are men out here that ain't worth nothing. The problem is y'all ain't ready for the men that are worth something. Y'all ain't even ready for the ones that are ready to be husbands because you're too focused on the negative ones. There's so many people out here saying focus on your career, focus on your money, focus on your bag, but they're not telling you that there are, Pastor just said it earlier, there's somebody for you somewhere. That someone may be in your city, may be next door to you, and you may meet him, but because you're so scorned and so focused on your bag and focused on your career, like he said, you may miss him because you've told men to take a back seat because you said, I don't need a man. So when that man comes up, no, I don't need you. Go, bye. You may miss it because people telling you don't focus on it. Don't worry about it. Instead of telling you, hey, focus on your career, but understand that the man comes above it all. The household, the family comes above it all. And if you have that opportunity while chasing your career to get that man, you drop that career shit off and you get your damn man and you create your family and you live happily ever after. You can make another career. You can pick that back up. You cannot pick up another husband. Not another soulmate, not the one that's supposed to be for you.
Has a desire to provide. He has a desire to hold you down.
Now he has a desire to provide. Now he has a desire to hold stuff down. But you just told them that they're supposed to do it their way. You just told them to be how they want and don't mask themselves. But now you saying, whew.
He has a desire to cover you.
Whew.
But when you have carried this masculine energy so long that you do all of these things for yourself, watch this. You have to step back from the process and process, because you could very well be carrying masculine energy, attracting feminine men who are never really good candidates for.
Pastor preaching now. You preaching. He said you could very well be carrying all that masculine energy and you're going to attract feminine men. See, what people don't understand is feminine or masculine attracts. Even in the LGBTQ community, feminine and masculine attracts. Even when you tend to have two gay men attracted to each other, there's usually one that has more feminine and there's one that has more masculine, and they attract. It's rare. I'm not saying it'll never happen. It's rare that you'll have two masculines or two feminines attracted to each other. For the most part, God created feminine and masculine energy to attract. The problem is that women have said, you know what, like you said, we don't go out and focus on this stuff. We gonna become masculine. We gonna get that masculine energy. And when you do that, you're gonna attract feminine men that want you for your money. The masculine men out there working on their money too. We don't need two workers. We don't need two masculines. It's not gonna work. Ooh, pastor preaching.
Mates, if you desire a real marriage, you keep attracting these feminine men that have no desire to hold anything down, no desire to work, no desire to be the man.
Preach.
And at the same time, simultaneously, you're turning off masculine men. So you have to be aware of masculine, feminine energy. When you leave corporate America or you leave your business and you get through giving out orders and all of that, now you're dating, you have to intentionally shift your mindset.
When you leave that corporate mindset, you have to be able to flip a switch and be able to become feminine and not carry that masculine energy with you. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard people tell women to do, is to go out, do you. Get the masculine energy, because we know what's going to come with that mindset with chasing a bag. You're going to pick up that masculine energy. You're going to pick up a whole different mindset. And then once you leave your job and close the door, you have to flip a switch and be able to turn feminine now and come under the tutelage of a masculine man. Instead of saying, you know what? Stop worrying about that other stuff, that bag, that masculine energy. Focus on being feminine. Focus on becoming a wife. Focus on a man if that's what you want your goal to be. Why can't we just tell women that part and stop trying to tell them to go out and do this stuff and do the impossible and be able to flip a switch like Pastor just said?
You have to intentionally shift your, let the man be the man. Let the man be the man. Let him open the door. You know. Sit in that seat. Wait for him to come around and open the door for you.
Now let him be the man. Now let him do it. Let him just do the stuff. He just told women that you shouldn't have to change who you are for a man. And then in the same breath, same video, said, let the man lead. Let him do it. I think we should be done right here. I'm going to play a little bit more because I know it's some other stuff I need to get to.
You know, let the man be the man. Don't walk out in front of the dude. Y'all walking, you don't walk. You so used to running the show, you running off in front of man and all this kind of stuff. That's masculine energy.
Thank you.
Masculine energy. And there are a lot of things that where this presents itself or manifests itself and you don't even realize it. You know,
because you told them to do it, Pastor.
Okay, let me see
Look,
something.
He kind of got lost in his words. I think at some point he started realizing, like, damn it, I done went full-fledged man on these women that I'm supposed to be telling them, supposed to be catering to women, and I done messed around and told them the wrong stuff because his mindset is different. His mindset is what he just said. What wasn't his mindset was that Tangi went on at the beginning where he was talking about some don't worry about a man, you don't need a man. This is the real pastor that just spoke. That was the real him that said, nope, if you meet that masculine man, you better get under his tutelage. You better listen to what he say. You better do it. If he say do it, do it. That's the real pastor. And I'm pretty sure that's how his household is ran with his wife. I wish she might come around there talking about some pastor. I'm going to fit you in over here in between my job and me having fun. I'm going to fit you in between there. Hell no. Where we at on this? 25. I marked it because it's some more. Let's see what else Pastor say.
You could misrepresent yourself to a masculine man, or if you don't check your masculine, if you don't check the masculine, your masculine energy, his feminine energy. See, not only are you checking for toning down your masculine energy, but you're also checking for this dude's feminine energy. If a dude sits there and he's comfortable with you paying the bill, I wouldn't go out with him no more.
Okay then, Pastor. Let's go ahead and fast forward this to another part that I marked important because I think we're pretty much done. He's already showed me exactly what I needed to see and what you all needed to see. But let's play this last part here.
Really, you never can afford it, but you definitely can't afford this after 30. Absolutely not after 40. Most certainly not after 50.
Let's rewind a little bit more and see what he's talking about.
Just does not command your respect like that. You got to call a thing a thing.
Call a thing a thing.
Because if you don't, this is what happens. This is what happens. And this is what you cannot afford. This is what you cannot afford. You know, really, you never can afford it, but you definitely can't afford this after 30. Absolutely not after 40. Most certainly not after 50. You cannot afford to continue to take on projects.
My pastor did again. What pastor did again was acknowledge that there is a wall. He acknowledged that there is a danger zone. There is a red alert part of women to where you can't afford to do the things that you used to do. He just said it. At 40, he said, you definitely can't do it at the 40, and you definitely can't do it at the 50. It start building projects. It start trying to build with men at those ages. Do you want to know why? I explained why earlier. I don't think I need to say it again. Pastor knows the truth. That's why he didn't want to get into the wall. Pastor knows the truth. That's why he didn't want to get into the danger zone, because he knows they exist. It's just not good for his brand. And he slips up and he says it. You can't afford to be doing this young people stuff at these ages. I think that is vital, and that's crazy that in the same video you can literally say two completely opposite things.
If you don't call a thing, you're going to end up with a bunch of projects. That's what you're going to end up with. A bunch of projects. That one didn't work out. This project didn't work out. You have a collection of projects. That project didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And all of these projects are consuming your value.
Ooh.
But when you...
all these things is just taking your value. All of these men that you're trying to work with are taking your value again. More spin the block. Acknowledging that the things women do affect how they age and affect how men look at women. And living your life in the way he's told you to do can be detrimental.
You can discern and you can call a thing a thing. Say, no, this is a clown. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Girlfriends all talking all that. He's so cute. He's so fine. Mm-hmm. All that old foolish talk, man. You done had cute and fine for the last 40 years. You need more than cute and fine now.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You done had cute and fine for the last 40 years. Now it's time to focus on something else. Pastor, did you just mess around and say that? As many people watch this video, I'm not going to say the numbers are low. These numbers are crazy. Out of 373,000, he got 29,000 likes. They don't show the dislike button, but I would love to know how more men felt about this. When you hear things like this, I hate saying listen to men, because you got another man right here that I have to, golly. The men that you want, the men that you desire, the men that you respect, ask them their thoughts on these topics. Don't just take Larry Legend's word for it. Don't take Pastor's word for it. Ask the men that you respect and you want to be with about these topics, and see just how they feel about it. It can't be a man who wants to sleep with you. I know most people like, I'm just going to ask my followers on Instagram, and she's an Instagram model. I promise you, 10 times out of 10, most of them going to say whatever they need to say to make you feel better and to try to get them draws. It has to more than likely be somebody who you're already sleeping with and who doesn't benefit from lying to you, or a family member who you respect. But just asking random men and you're a female who looks good, you're not going to get honest answers for the most part, because most of them going to lie to try to get the draws.
This is a cute, fine dummy. This dude is cute and fine, but this dude cannot, there's no critical thought within this cat. He can't hold a 30-second conversation. I got this dude, but I won't even bring him to the Christmas party at my job because I'm afraid somebody gonna talk to him. Mm-hmm. You got to call a thing a thing. Mm-hmm. You don't have time to waste, babe. You got to call it like you see it. Don't mean you
don't have time to waste. I'm gonna wrap it up here because I think he's backtracked on everything. This is literally the same video. All I did was go through from the beginning where he was giving all these affirmations, and you don't need, if you need a man, you don't need a man to turn around and say, you know what, if you find a masculine man and he tells you do it this way, you do it. You don't have time to waste. He said it. Then he said you don't have time to waste to be building on, to work on these projects when you're past 40. This is the worst dating advice video I have ever seen in my history of listening to anything, because it contradicts and it sends women's minds in a frenzy. I don't even know the women who did take his advice, the women who did watch this all the way through. I don't understand how you left this conversation with any type of positive information, because it contradicted itself to full extent. And if you don't believe me, just rewind my video back again. He said it, and I knew he was gonna say it because I had already heard him say this before. Questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and address me. I'm answering all comments. I'm replying to all comments. We will have the conversation. Just be respectful. Respect my channel, respect my platform, respect my comment section, and we can have the conversation. Whether you agree or disagree, I'm up for the conversation. Just remember, over here, we argue facts, not emotions. I'm out.